Hey everyone, welcome to Mommy's Metal. I'm the mommy, and this is my metal. As I'm filming today's episode, it has been 24 hours since the world has found out that Prince has passed away. This was an incredibly unexpected death. This was a death that has affected my family deeply. Prince has always been in our lives. Prince is sort of the artist who has the soundtrack to our lives. As soon as my oldest daughter, who doesn't even live at home, found out, she rushed over. We were inundated with messages and texts from people, family and friends, finding out if we were okay. I mean, it's well known how much this man has meant to my family. Anyone who comes to our home immediately knows how much Prince means to us. My husband did this many years ago, and it hangs right in our entryway. So anyone coming into our home immediately knows we are Prince fans. My husband is a talented artist who is also a Prince fan. And we even had my son's 16-year-old friend stop by today at his lunch hour to make sure we were okay, because he knows how much this loss was going to affect us. My husband especially. My husband discovered Prince when he was 13. That ripe old age when hormones are kicking in and your opinions about the opposite sex are starting to develop, and you know, it's the prime time for a boy to be taught. Prince taught my husband well. He taught him that women were to be respected, women were to be cherished, women were to be adored, not just loved, absolutely adored. Romance was important. Women's pleasure was just as important as a man's. This was the opposite of most of the bands at that time who were portraying women in their videos or in their songs. You always got the impression the women were there for the band's benefit. Whereas Prince always gave off the impression that he was there for the woman's benefit as well. It was a shared experience. His music was spiritual. His music was epic, orchestral, funky, you name it. He crossed every genre that was out there. He didn't care what genre it was. He just wanted to play music. He provided my husband with the words to woo me, if you will. When we were courting, my husband would send me love letters and quote Prince lyrics. I didn't know at the time that they were Prince lyrics. When I found out, it didn't bother me because, as my husband put it, no one else could have written it any better. The lyrics were poetry and perfectly mirrored how he felt about me at that time. And throughout the years, I mean, he first told me he loved me when we were watching Sign of the Times for the first time, my first time. Certainly not his. He was part of the underground bootleg scene when it came to Prince stuff. Back in the day, that meant a lot of letter writing, trusting your fellow man that if you sent money, they would actually send you something back. There was no internet, nobody monitored stuff like that, but he never got scammed. He never got ripped off. Prince fans were as good as people as Prince himself always seemed to be. My son posted on Facebook that to him, Prince has always been the strongest adhesive to our family, if you will. He's always been the guiding force in our family. A lot of people I know are wondering, why is everyone so deeply upset about this particular passing? I mean, this has affected the world. Last night, to show that everyone is united in their grief. I mean, most of the world, the lights on national monuments were all purple. Prince was more than just a musician. Prince was a decent person, from every account I've ever read, heard. I've never heard anyone ever slam him and say that he was an evil, mean person, or that he just wasn't good. He was very, very private, for sure. He was driven by genius, which I know made it very, very difficult for personal relationships that he had, whether it was with romantic interests or bandmates or, just people in general. He was so driven to produce the music that he did. He didn't have a lot of time for people, which is so contradictory considering how well he understood people. I believe he understood women better than most women understand women. My goodness, first time I heard Prince, I was 13. I was at my friend's sleepover birthday party. For her birthday, she had gotten Cyndi Lauper's She's So Unusual and Prince's Purple Rain. Never heard of the man before. She put it on. I was intrigued with the album cover because I thought, wow, he's different. Put the music on and I think my soul woke up. The music itself was something I'd never heard before. The voice was obviously one I had never heard before, but it spoke to me in a way that nothing had up until that time. And his songs were provocative, but they weren't provocative for provocative's sake, if you know what I mean. They were more about sensuality and about enjoying yourself and others. And a lot of people will say, oh, he objectified women, because look at the early days when he would put his female artists in really, really, really skimpy clothes, lots of lingerie, high heels, a lot of the bodysuits or the cat suits, plunging necklines, bras, half pants, everything. What a lot of people don't remember or don't acknowledge is he was right there beside them in the same type of outfits. This was the look he wanted for particular albums or tours that he was promoting. And it had nothing to do with objectifying women. The women in his band were not there as eye candy. They were not there as a gimmick. They were not there to make him look good or because, he was such a woman hound that he had to have pretty women around him all the time. The women that were in his bands were there because they were the best people for the job. They were extremely talented people. Prince had just as much respect for women as he did for men. So to him, as long as you could play the music, that was all that mattered. That was so new to me. That was, like I said, very influential on my husband, which I am grateful for. I think it also taught my husband that it was okay to get in touch with his feminine side, in that he's allowed to have feelings. He's allowed to feel certain ways. He can empathize with me because he's not afraid of who he is. He doesn't need to define himself according to anyone's rules other than his own. Prince taught him that independence. Prince taught him that confidence. When I met my husband, he was one of the most joyful people I had ever met in my life. And he spoke directly to me. He valued my opinion. He looked me in the eye when we spoke. He was such a gentleman that will probably get me a few raised eyebrows from people who believe, women should be equal and blah, 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 and we are. It doesn't mean I don't like to be treated like a lady. Contrary, whatever, I don't care. That's just the way it is, and my husband was a gentleman, and Prince taught him that, as much as his family did, of course. But at 13, a musician is going to be a much bigger influence on you than your family. That's just how it goes. The loss of Prince, I saw a posting and it said, as soon as everyone found out yesterday, there was this huge collective gasp in the world. I believe that. I mean, we've been crying on and off for the last 24 hours, trying not to mourn so much as realize we will never see him again. It's selfishness on our part, it's selfishness on my part, but if we really, really, really want to honor him, he woke up every day thankful he was awake and alive and able to do what he loved to do. And the best way that the world can honor Prince is be more grateful. Be grateful for the little things. Be grateful for the sun that's shining or for the rain that's nourishing the trees and the flowers. Be grateful for all the little things in your life that you just take for granted. He didn't take things for granted. He wasn't always realistic, but he certainly didn't seem to take for granted the very breath in his body, let alone the opportunities that came his way through his own hard work. I really think that we should look at Minneapolis and their reaction and take our cue from them. They knew him better than anyone else, or as well as regular people could know him. And rather than joining outside Paisley Park with the candles and the tears and just sobbing all night long, everyone who was a true Prince fan and understood what he would have wanted was at First Avenue. This is the club where Purple Rain was filmed. This is a club that's still in existence. It is still associated with Prince because everyone knows it from the movie. So this was naturally the place where everyone in Minneapolis who was a fan and was feeling the loss went. And they stayed open all night long, partying their asses off, which is exactly what Prince would have wanted. So rather than spend all your time being sad about our loss of this amazing soul, do something nice for someone. Throw a record on during the day and dance around your kitchen. Honor him by living. Not enough people are actually living today, and I really think that would be the best legacy that he could leave, is to just encourage people to embrace who they are. Don't be judgmental. Love. That's what he left. Music and love. And he will be forever missed. After a day of crying my eyes out and surfing through Twitter and trying to find everything I could to connect with people over this loss, I got a tweet saying that Memphis May Fire was live streaming a performance from Cincinnati through Yahoo Live Nation. I debated going to see it because I really wasn't in the mood. I was still really raw from the day's emotions. I didn't know if I could really handle listening to a metal band right then. I wanted my funk. I wanted my jazz, my blues, my soul. I wanted my Prince music. I'm really glad I decided to check it out, though, because Memphis May Fire is such an uplifting band. They helped make me feel better. I was able to close my eyes, just enjoy the music. They played songs I knew, I could sing along. The lead singer was amazing with the crowd in between songs, very encouraging to them, telling them, don't ever give up on your dreams, things like that. This was a Kill Switch Engage audience, so a lot of them were not familiar with Memphis May Fire necessarily, but by the end of their set, the audience was not still. I saw a lot of movement, certainly a lot more movement than I've seen on other live streams recently from clubs around America. Memphis May Fire is an American metalcore band formed in Texas, and some online sites label them as Christian metal, while others state they are a metalcore band with members who follow a Christian life, but that is only one element of who they are, and it doesn't define their music. Having been raised with religion in my life, I find it very easy to identify with a lot of their songs in a spiritual and uplifting way. Their catalog of music, however, runs through all sorts of emotions, life experiences, and ideas that fans who don't identify with religious aspects will still be able to identify with on other levels. According to the Memphis May Fire Facebook page, and I quote, "The music of Memphis May Fire is the sound of hope and compassion delivered by a dedicated group of men striving for something greater than the world around them." End quote. This absolutely comes through in their music and their lyrics. When Peter suggested that I listen to these guys over a year ago, I was intrigued with the song Beneath the Skin so much that I had to look the lyrics up immediately. I couldn't understand the vocals yet, but loved the message of the song. Seeing this, Peter scoured the internet and found me an acoustic version of the song that the band released 5 months ago. This became my daily must-to listen song for the next 2 months at least. I probably drove everyone in the house crazy with it, but I had to listen to that song every day. I think the song is powerful, and it sends such a positive feeling of hope and understanding that every person should listen to it at least once.
They make her feel, she takes a look at her wrists and turns to the blade. It's not a cry for attention if she just wants to feel anything other than the pain. And everyone deserves to be loved, but they make her hate everything she was sure of. Every day feels like her against the world, and now she's afraid she'll never be enough. And no one knows all the weight that she holds when she feels alone. And the memories, they haunt her. No one sees all the pain she brings everywhere she goes. And she feels they'll never want her. She dreams of a day when she won't have to cry herself to sleep. And staring at the scars on her wrist, she knows this is not who she wants to be.
Challenger is the album I'm most familiar with, having just realized last week that there were 4 or 5 other albums that I was completely unaware of. I think I'm just not used to the bands I'm listening to having more than one album available, as most of these bands are new to the scene. The song Losing Sight talks about having the life you always wanted, but finding yourself ungrateful for that life. Rather than being able to identify with being the lead singer of a band that so many people look up to for inspiration, I take the song and apply it to my life as a parent. It's what I always wanted since I was really young, but sometimes I don't appreciate the incredible gifts that I've been given, and the pressure of guiding these young lives can sometimes be overwhelming. The song Legacy inspires me to stop being afraid of procrastinating, because tomorrow is never promised, and we all have the potential to do great things if we actually try. You're starting to see why I was so happy to watch the Memphis May Fire, because concert last night after the whole Prince thing, these are the songs that they played. The song Generation Hate is a commentary on how a lot of young people are so caught up in tearing each other down in the negativity that seems to be pervading society as a whole lately. I've noticed this more than ever lately, and it concerns me that many online communities are turning into kindergarten playgrounds with all sorts of name-calling and bullying just because someone disagrees with you. Being behind a computer and being relatively anonymous doesn't mean people should throw common courtesy and compassion out the window. This seems to be happening more and more lately, and Generation Hate is a wake-up call that it's not too late to start treating people with common decency, with respect, and with positivity. The other albums that I've been listening to are meeting my expectations and then some. If you aren't ready to listen to the songs yet, I would still recommend that you go look up the lyrics to all of these songs. I have a cousin, hi Tracy, who doesn't listen to metal as a rule, but I know that some of the lyrics would hit home with her. So I'll just send her a link to the words. It's nice to see a group of guys doing so well, singing about subjects that for some reason have come to be offensive to a lot of people, like faith and personal growth, a spiritual life and respect towards mankind, simply helping each other out. Keep it up, guys, because now that Prince is gone, we need more bands to remind us to keep our eyes open and appreciate what we have. I've been wanting to put the spotlight on another favorite band of mine, and it was really important to me that I get it right. So I asked Peter to come up with the words to express how amazing these guys are, and he finally got around to it. So I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to Ghost Iris. Ghost Iris is one of the bands that I've been listening to since the beginning, and I grow more and more in love with them every time one of their songs come up in my shuffle. Peter did such an excellent job in writing about the band that I'm just going to read what he sent me, so expect a bit more music language. Ghost Iris is a progressive metalcore band with many influences ranging from deathcore to jazz. None of that is new in today's scene, but what sets Ghost Iris apart is their ability to blend it all into something for the masses. Not Bring Me the Horizons way, but in the style of Periphery's catchy instrumentals. They blend the best of both Periphery and Protest the Hero, creating an album that has technicality, speed, harmony, melody, and of course, hard djent. Jesper's vocals do more than uplift a song's already established composition, but add an entirely new layer to the depth of the song's true value. Nicholas has a fluidity with the fretboard that few have been able to establish in a career, let alone a single album. The technicality and melodic nature of each riff brings each song to life and never ceases to keep a listener in awe. Atmospheric in nature and raw at its core, the down-tuned destruction of their groovy, and yes, groovy, tones will induce headbanging long before the open invitation. All in all, it's a band that is comprised entirely of chemistry-oriented emotional release, a calm yet satisfyingly heavy introduction to the world. Anecdotes of science and soul is everything the community wants but hasn't been paying attention to. The album itself reflects issues of familiar hard issues like identity of the self and the toll it takes on dreams and even delusions. It's a therapeutic approach to metalcore and the progressive gent scene, though not exclusively. The band doesn't rely on any tacky industry tricks or tropes. They're a group of average, working-class young men looking to inspire their respective generation. Given the message their album spread to me, Peter, I'd say they've more than earned their respective place in metal's elite class of upcoming acts. Quite an endorsement from someone with a very particular ear, trust me. I love all of that, and yes, I continue to confuse them with Periphery and Protest the Hero, but I'm getting better at identifying telltale musical differences between these bands. I also love the way the music makes me move and usually puts me in a really good mood. Some male vocalists who do the high, clean singing often sound whiny to me, but Jesper's voice is rich and clear, which I absolutely love. The video for Euphoric State is done in good fun and really lets you see the guys when they're not being so serious.
Tragedies of old, exhaling with regret. Determinate my state, my shameless state, reaching out to find solace in the most barren of places. This descent is long, unbearably long, bring it to mind, fed of myths. A time when I was present. A time when I was present. This moment, suspended into the the darkness of being isolated. This moment, suspended into the this exile was another regret.
Another band that I don't know much about yet, but I have been listening to them, and I believe they fit in with the whole theme of this episode, is Sienna Skies. Songs like Even Stronger are songs about not letting anything keep you down. Songs about continue trying, never stop dreaming, always keep going forward. These are metal bands that I believe deserve a spotlight on them. I believe society and the metal community needs these bands to be part of their regular rotation. It can't always be doom and gloom. If it's always doom and gloom, you're going to have, depressed days, you're going to have more negative outlooks on things. Bands like Memphis May Fire and Sienna Skies and Ghost Iris remind us it's not all darkness. There is beauty in the world. Every day we get up, we can find beauty. We can create beauty. I'll leave you this week with the instrumental song Vessels. This is another favorite of mine from Memphis May Fire that I would definitely put in my top 5 of instrumentals. If you like this video, please remember to click the thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for visiting, and have a great week. And remember, there's always a rainbow at the end of bad rain.